Okay, I'm going to be showing you my thematic unit for EDCI 522. The unit address is edci522.weebly.com. When you go to that address, it's going to bring you to the home page for my unit. You can see the grade level is high school psychology, and the particular unit that I looked at was theories of lifespan development. On the first page, you have a couple things, an introduction to the course, which kind of lays out how the unit is organized. It also goes just into very brief detail about how to navigate through the page. Um, then there's a description about myself. I'm currently pursuing a master's in education with a focus on educational technology. I'm not in a classroom right now. I've never actually been in a classroom, but I am an academic advisor at Ohio State and the advising technology coordinator for my particular unit. So a lot of the tools and concepts that we learned about in this class are pretty applicable to what I do on a day-to-day basis. I do have an embedded YouTube video here right now. This is just a sample from something else, but I wanted to make sure the embed feature worked, so I have that there for now. So when you come to the home page of my unit, there are a couple ways you could get started. There are the tabs at the top, the lessons tab, the assessments tab, standards, peer review, technology, and then the implementation and reflection page. You could also just click on start exploring, and that's going to take you right to the lessons. So this unit is organized based on the 6 major perspectives or theoretical frameworks of lifespan development. Again, you can get to each of these lessons either by clicking on the buttons on the lessons page, if you go to that landing page, or through the tab at the top. So we'll start up here. This is the psychodynamic perspective. This is the first unit. You scroll down to the bottom and I have the actual lesson plan that's embedded here, and you can read through that. And then I have whatever way that the student's going to be getting the information also on each page. So this particular unit is a haiku deck presentation. I definitely would recommend looking into haiku deck if you haven't looked into it before. It's a really cool way to kind of streamline and make your presentations look sleek. So this presentation, the students can actually just go through from the unit page itself. They don't have to go to the website or anything like that. They don't have to download anything. It's just all right here for them to look through. And I created each of these presentations I created specifically for this unit. They weren't created before. So the student would go through that presentation. Once they're done, then they're going to go to the assessment page for each unit. And again, that can be accessed in 2 different ways, either by clicking on the assessment link from the lesson page or going up to assessments and clicking on the lesson. I included a poll daddy poll in each one of my units. And I kind of what I wanted to do here, so if you click vote, is I wanted to kind of have the students gauge the student's own understanding. So each poll is going to ask something like, do you feel that you have a good understanding of this unit? The student can say yes or no. Then they're going to vote. When they vote, then they can see how many votes there are, kind of what the distribution is. So not only, if a student's having a hard time with the unit or something, they could potentially see, oh yeah, there are 50% of the class is also having a hard time with this unit. Must just be a difficult unit. And I, as the instructor, can see, oh, 50% of the class is having a hard time with this unit. What's wrong with this unit that makes it unclear, or whatever the case may be. So each lesson is going to have this type of poll assessment. This isn't for a grade. It's really just to gauge how students are understanding the material. It's going to have its own formal assessment. So this particular assessment is a case study, and they have to do a presentation based on the case study. So that's just kind of a description of that. I can go back to lesson 2, which is a behavioral perspective. Each lesson is laid out to look a little bit like the other. I wanted some consistency there, but there are different ways of getting students information and different types of assessments that are happening. So again, the lesson plan is right here embedded on the page for them. They don't have to download anything, although they could punch this out if they wanted to. And then there's the haiku deck presentation, again, for the second unit. And again, I created each of these presentations particularly for this assignment. And the student can go to the assessment page. This particular assessment is a poster presentation. So what I've included for this assessment is a picture of what a poster might look like for students who have never made a poster presentation before. Then I've also hyperlinked this image so that they can click on the image, and it's going to take them to more of detailed instructions for actually creating the poster itself. Anywhere that I've hyperlinked a photo like this, I do try to include that in the caption, so it does say detailed instructions for putting together a good poster can be found by clicking on the photo, just in case students might miss that. So we go on to lesson 3, which is the cognitive perspective. Again, we have the embedded lesson plan here. This particular lesson, they're going to be watching a video which is hosted on a site called PsychBytes. PsychBytes is basically a giant online database for psychology educators. It has a bunch of free videos and learning tools that you can use, so I'll go ahead and click on that. And again, students have to watch this video, which is a presentation that's
Child psychologist Jean Piaget described the mechanism by which the mind processes new information.
And once they're done, then they can go back to the page. And again, go to the assessments page. Again, they have the poll here that they can fill out. This particular lesson has a worksheet that I created. This is created in Google Forms and embedded here on the page. When they submit this, it's going to go directly to my email. So I'll get the response and I can kind of give them feedback that way. Every time this worksheet is loaded, the questions load in a different order and the responses to each question load in a different order, so that if two students were sitting next to each other, they wouldn't have the same questions that popped up at the same time in the same order. So that's the assessment for this particular unit. If we go to lesson 4, the humanistic perspective, again, we scroll down, there's the lesson plan is here. And then I have an ED puzzle, an Edpuzzle video. Edpuzzle is a really cool tool. It has basically a bunch of YouTube videos that are hosted on a site, and they're kind of categorized by subject area. So you can use the videos if you want as presentation, or you can actually change the videos into a quiz, interactive quiz type thing where you can insert questions into the video itself, even if you didn't create the video. This is a free tool. So students would watch this video.
The humanistic perspective.
Once they're done with this video, then again they would go up to the assessments page. They'd fill out the poll. This unit, the students required to create a PowerPoint presentation and come up with a theoretical perspective on their own that incorporates information from the humanistic perspective that can actually be applied in real life. A lot of the aspects of the humanistic perspective aren't really ever applied, so that's kind of the purpose of this. And this just has the rubric for the PowerPoint presentation that I want them to create. If we go on to lesson 5, this is the contextual perspective. They're going to scroll down and have the lesson again. There's going to be 2 ED puzzle videos that are embedded here. Click on those.
All right, the next theory that we're going to take a look at is Vygotsky's.
So this is a more involved unit, and I did want to have a little bit more time devoted, so the videos are longer. Another really neat feature of ED Puzzle is that a lot, not all, but a lot of the videos on here are actually created by students. So when students are getting the information, it's a peer-to-peer type relationship rather than, a lecture type relationship. The videos, a lot of them are very interactive and entertaining and not lecture based like other videos might be. So then the students would go back up to the assessments. For this particular lesson, again, they have to respond to the poll, which is on every assessments page. The focus of this lesson was on a theorist who has created 5 systems that he thinks that all people kind of live within. So students, there's an example here, but students' assessment is to kind of create their own diagram based on Bronfenbrenner's 5 systems. There are instructions there for them to do that. They can go to lesson 6, which is the evolutionary perspective. This is a shorter lesson, so again, it's going to be reflected in the material they have to review, but again, a lesson plan is here. This is a haiku deck presentation, again, that I created for this particular unit. So they'll review that, and then they'll go to the assessments page. With this, they're going to be doing what I call a genogram, or what they call a genogram, which is basically a family tree that includes or incorporates family and emotional relationships. So all the symbols for creating that are there, and then there's also a link for them to go to a free site that kind of walks them through the process of how to create a genogram, and that's all right there for them to look at, along with the poll that's on each page. Again, I have the standards page. Let me just check the time real quick. Standards I kind of worked from. One is the National Standards for High School Psychology Curricula, developed through the American Psychological Association, the NET standards, and the P21 standards. Each of these are hyperlinked, and again, that's listed right here in the caption. So if you click on this, it will take you to the APA standards that I used. Go back. This will take you to the NET's webpage, so you can actually go ahead and look at those standards. And this takes you to the P21 framework site. So all of those are listed right there for you. I do have the peer review site, which has my peer review survey, which is embedded into the site. Once you submit, you do have the option of viewing the responses. Those are public, so anyone should be able to view those. Go to more. I have a technology page. This is a complete listing of any kind of technology that I might have used for my unit. And these are also hyperlinked. So if I click on Quizlet, it's going to take you to the Quizlet webpage, the Edpuzzle site, the PsychBite site. So if you're interested in using any of these, again, just clicking on it should take you to that particular site. And then I have the implementation and reflection page, which I've started, but obviously need to add to once this has been peer reviewed. In addition, on the technology page, there's a questions email me box. So this will take you, if you have your email set up on your computer, straight to my email, and you can submit any questions through the email. And again, home just takes you right back to the home page. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know.